Very good afternoon to all of you. Once again, welcome to BYJU'S exam prep. Today's session is all about decision making. It's one of the series of sessions on decision making called 100 Most Expected Questions, and it's in decision making today. Now we're going to go a bit retro with respect to the decision making questions. I have actually picked up the questions way back from 2011-2012 XAT papers. You will get to see how the sets were given at that point in time, and of course I'm going to discuss a lot of these questions right now. So the whole idea is for you to experience what was the paper like if you go back 10 years ago, 11 years ago, because certain formats may be coming back to you. You should know what were the kind of formats they were asking you, and you should be prepared for such kind of formats in case it happens this year. I'm not saying it will happen, but you should at least know what has happened in the past, right? So Maitreya is saying I'm getting only 4 to 5 correct in decision making in BYJU'S mock. Maitreya, 4 to 5 is not really a great score right now. You need to improve it to at least 6 to 7 for the time being, and probably in the last 1 or 2 mocks, try to get around 8 plus. Typically the cutoff for decision making will be in the range of 6 to 7, probably, in fact last year if I remember it was 5.5 or 5 marks. I don't remember exactly, but it was in that range. Again, it depends on the difficulty level of the paper. Last year's paper was one of the trickiest papers in decision making. So the cutoff was very low. It's about 5.5, and for this is 5.5 was for the HR program, and for the business management BM program, it was around 4.5 to 5 marks. So typically for decision making there is a 1 mark to half mark difference. The BM requirement will be slightly lower than the HR requirement. Similarly in English also the BM requirement will be slightly lower than the HR requirement. Whereas the quant, there will be a high difference of 2-3 marks between your BM and HRM. So BM will require a higher math cutoff. So yes, you should target around 8 questions. You will end up with about 6 to 7, which is a safe bet for you. But last year, understand, the cutoffs were quite low because it was a very, very tricky paper. Okay. Namaste Guru Prasad, and a very good afternoon once again to all of you. Sir, my score fluctuates between 25 to 40. HR 31, 25 to 40, my friend, is a huge difference. Okay, that's a big difference. Normally when you talk about fluctuation, it should be 25 to 28 to 30. That is a range. 3-4 marks here and there is a range. Otherwise it means there is something which is drastically going right at times for you, drastically going wrong at times for you. You need to sit and figure out why that is happening, because a 15 marks in a 25 marks a 15 marks difference in terms of the range is not something which is really good, because it means there is something which you're doing wrong somewhere. So you need to figure that out and correct it. Mohit says, sir, but DM marks tend to fall in actual XAT, isn't it? Yes, Mohit, I would definitely say that. Again, when I say actual XAT, if XAT people give a easy paper, the cutoff will definitely be around 7.5, 8 in that case. Because if you go back 3 to 4 years ago, 4 years back, the cutoffs for decision making used to be in the range of 7, 7.5. Not so low, right? 7.5 is a decent number. Whereas in the last 2 years, in fact, the cutoffs were in the range of 5 to 5.5. So yeah, it's a function of how tricky the paper was made. Okay. Does SimSri accept XAT? I think SimSri comes through, SimSri is basically, you're talking about Sidnem, right? So I think it takes MAHCT, if I'm not mistaken. How many DM sets are we solving today? Gaurav, I think I have 5 sets. Let's go ahead and solve all the 5. Any updates on IFT response sheet? Mridul, there are no updates. We are all waiting anxiously for the IFT response sheets, but today is 28th. So I hope to make sure that your new year doesn't really get spoiled. I wish IFT does not release this, the response sheet in the next 2-3 days. Imagine getting an IFT response sheet and your exam doesn't go well. Your 31st December is going to be ruined. So I hope either they give it out today or they don't give out for the next 3 days, so that at least you will have 31st evening peace of mind, right? First onwards they can do whatever they want. Okay, Mukul is saying this decision making is much easier than LRDA of CAT. So why is that considered difficult? Mukul, please give the same amount of time you're giving for XAT decision making and the same amount of time you're giving for LRDA of CAT. Compare the marks and then see. You'll understand why decision making is difficult. Take any last 1, 2 years or 3 years of actual XAT decision making paper. Take, set a time limit of 40 minutes. See how many you can get correct. Okay, compare the same thing with CAT. And now you tell me whether it's going to be easy or difficult. Now, second thing, why XAT? I will not say, I typically don't say XAT is difficult. In fact, I would actually say CAT is more difficult than XAT. Because in my opinion, an exam like XAT, which is 2 hours 45 minutes for 75 questions, where there is no sectional time limit, is the ideal case for a student like me. Why? Because I would like to spend very little time in decision making and English and spend maximum time in DI and Quant. I can maximize my score easily. In CAT, I can't do that. Even if I want to say that, okay, I've done 2 sets of DI perfectly, now I don't want to spend time, I want to do all Quant in CAT, I can't do that. Because there is a time constraint. Because of which, scoring in CAT is actually a bit more difficult than scoring in XAT. So I would always say XAT is actually a slightly easier exam compared to CAT. However, the quant questions in XAT, the quant, not the DI, the quant questions in XAT tend to be a bit lengthy to read. They are 5-6 line questions and they will not be that straightforward compared to what happens in CAT. That is one of the reasons students say that XAT is a bit tough, because the quant questions will actually be, in my opinion, one level higher than what CAT would give you. Clear? So that's basically what it is. Then we have snap results are supposed to be out before 31st. I'm not too sure, Nihar. But again, I'm telling you guys, don't wish for the results on 30th or 31st. It will not be great for many of the students. Either wish for it today, so that you'll have 3 days to cry or laugh about it, or you wish that they give to you on after Jan 1st. At least that's the way in which you should think. Why this time XAT has given 3.5 hours? It's always like that, Jas. 3.5 hours, it's always like that. See, you have 2 hours 45 minutes. So look at it. 2 hours 45 minutes is your aptitude. Then you'll have 25 minutes for your essay plus GK. So it's always 3 hours 10 minutes. It's always been like that. Now why will they say 3.5 hours? Because they will, there could be a 5-10 minute gap between the two things. So once you finish this 2 hours 45 minutes, there could be a gap. I'm not saying there will be. Or they are just saying that instead of 3 hours 10 minutes, I'll use the extra 20 minutes for various other administrative activities. They could say that, okay, you are sitting, the exam is going to start, and then there will be a break in which they will collect the answer sheets, or they will cover, because GK does not require any calculation. Or they could, use, instead of disturbing you in between the exam, they can say that after the 2 hours 45 minutes, I will come and take the signature and other things. There could be any of these reasons. Okay? Is that clear? It's always been 3 hours 10 minutes. That extra 20 minutes they are basically putting in. My assumption is there could be a gap in between, or they're just saying that, okay, we will not hurry the students. We will slowly start the exam after completing all this process. So taking the process into place, they're probably putting it as 3.5 hours. Okay, Yashasvi is giving us an update. Snap result is on 10th Jan as per their website. Thanks for that, Yashasvi. Gautami Parthiya says how to maximize score, as there is minus 0.1 for unattempted questions after 8 questions. Guys, unattempted minus 0.1. Please don't worry about it. If you don't know the answer, don't attempt. If you don't know the answer, don't attempt. Don't worry about this at all. I don't want to get into the calculations part. I don't want to explain the maths behind this. It's a simple math if you know probability. But the whole idea, if you compare what happens when you leave a question versus what happens if you randomly mark a question, the expected outcome is same for both. So it's better that you leave the question instead of marking it if you don't know the answer. Okay? XAT cutoff for XIMR, Sachin, we will have to wait and see for the difficulty level of the paper. Based on that, I can talk about the cutoffs. Right now it's difficult to say what score would give you, but again, percentile wise it will not change much. Akshay, no, essay writing will be typing, yeah. How can you write with a mouse? Come on. Essay writing is typing. They'll give you space. Right, let's move on, guys. Enough discussion. First set. I hope all of you are ready. This is the first set. Read this instruction, or rather read the information given. I'll give you 60 seconds for this. Jaydev, after 8 questions, 9th question onwards that you're leaving will be minus 0.1. So if you leave 12 questions totally, then you will get 12 minus 8 into 0.1 negative. So this is 0.4 negative. This is how it is. First 8 questions you're leaving has no implication of negative. After that, every question will attract minus 0.1 marks. Is that clear, Jaydev? Alright, you have done this, read this. Can I move on to the next slide? So let's take a clear stock check of the information. Indian government may hold top executives responsible if state-run power companies fail to meet performance targets and punish them with fines and transfers. The strict performance parameters are aimed at ensuring that at least the reduced target, so already target has been reduced to this value of generation capacity addition is achieved before the end of the 11th 5-year plan, said a power ministry official. Performance of chairman and MDs of the public sector project, performance of chairman and managing directors of the power public sector units in project implementation. So this and this is continued. Implementation will be assessed as per the terms and conditions stipulated in the company's memorandum of understanding. So basically it will be, you have to stick to the basic MOUs, and based on that, how are you performing is what they will be looking at. He said, requesting anonymity, somebody does not want to reveal themselves, that's fine. Performance parameters of executives had come under strict scrutiny due to lack of progress in capacity addition programs. While the target for the 11th 5-year plan has already been scaled down by the government, so this was the target and now this is the target. In the first 3 years, the plan yielded only 22,000 megawatts, 22,300 approximately megawatts of fresh capacity. So you are supposed to reach 62,000 in 5 years. You have reached only 22,000 in 3 years, which means more than half time is over, but less than half work is done. In fact, 1/3 of the work is done. So clearly in the next half also, even if I have another 3 years, I'll probably be doing another 28,000. So I can't meet this 62,000. So basically you are falling short. That's what the article or information given says. So this is the question. Take a look at the question and give me the answer. I'll give you 60 seconds to come up with an answer. Your time starts now. Sanskar, percentile will be the same. What you need to understand is percentile will not change. It is the marks that will change. So last year what percentile they called, this year also it will be more or less same percentile, but the marks will be different. Okay, I got 2 answers, C and D. One more C. A, B, C, D. Anybody for E? Nobody's going for E, looks like. Okay guys, let's see what the correct answer is. First one says, the labor unions owing allegiance to ruling party at the center are not allowing work to progress with their demands for wage hikes that are untenable. So first of all, is this something that you can control? You already have a labor union formed which is supporting, or which has got the support of the ruling party, right? This labor union is asking for a wage hike which cannot be sustained, and because of which the work is getting affected. Clearly this is not in my hand, so I can give this as a reason. Something which is not in my hands, only that I can put forward as a reason because I can't control it. Something that I can control cannot be given as a reason in this kind of a question. Please remember, what is the point to catch hold of? Are the points given to me in my control or out of my control? So this is the broad idea you need to have. So 1 should be in your answer option. If 1 is there, then D is gone. The other 4 will still remain. Let's look at it. 2. The actions of mid-level management are not in line with the objectives laid down by the top management. So is this in my control or not? If my mid-level management is not performing, it is my control. I can't blame it on the government. It's like saying that, hey, my company people are not working. Whose job is it? It is your job to make them work. So your mid-level management should be under your control. So you can't give second as an excuse. So wherever 2 comes, that is wrong. So that eliminates A, that eliminates E. Now we have B and C. So don't bother about 3. There's no point wasting time about 3 because 3 is there in both. So look at the only thing which is 4. Should 4 be there or not? Let's look at 4. We are not to blame. The government is not doing enough to ensure availability of sufficient fuel to power the existing plants, let alone the new plants. Now, why is it the government's job to give fuel to the power plant? Look, you are the company. You are supposed to take care of all your operational requirements. Why is the government going to give you fuel? You are a public sector unit, so you are a company in itself. You have to take care of all operational issues by yourself. You can't depend on the government for that. Hence, 4 should not be there in your answer. Therefore, C is gone and you'll get B as correct. So, the way you need to understand and tackle this kind of a question is, don't try to read all of them. Try to read one and decide whether they should be there or they should not be there. If you say it should be there, then eliminate all the options which does not have it, or vice versa. So start eliminating options. That is the best way to solve a decision making question. Don't try to sit and do this like a quant question where I prove what is the correct answer. I don't care about the proof for the correct answer. I just need to eliminate the 4 wrong options. That's the way to deal with decision making, right? Why not 4? Because this is in my control. 4 is my control. Fuel for my plant. I have to take control of that. It isn't under my control as a company. You know, it's like saying that the government is not paying my bill. Why will the government pay your bill? You are an entity, you are a company, you are a profit-making company or a loss-making for that matter. You are supposed to take care of your own entire need. Okay? 5th one. The government had ignored the infrastructure availability like roads, etc. and environmental clearances required for such projects and therefore set an unrealistic target to begin with. And the revised target is also unrealistic as well. Friends, when a government sets a target, it is not that they generally dump a target on your head. It is something which is done taking the stakeholders into consultation. So when you did not speak about this in the first place, after 3 years you cannot come back and say, hey, this is the issue. When the initial target is being made, it will be first discussed with the people. Guys, it will never happen like this. A good sales company or any good manager will not randomly say, hey, take this as your target. It will be done by taking a discussion or having a discussion with the stakeholders. Ultimately, the manager will decide. Understood? Similarly, a good government will not randomly throw a number. It will take the people into confidence, discuss with them and then come up with a number. So when you did not object at the beginning, you can't object after 3 years simply because you are not able to meet your target. Okay? 2 is an administration. This is my control. Anything which is in my control straight away can be rejected, because if it is my control, I should be able to manage, not a government excuse. Clear? Alright, Jazz, is it clear? Let's move on. Second question. Okay, this is done. Second question, second set, a different question. So that was a year where we used to have one question for one set also. Once in, there could be individual questions also at that point. They were. So now we have a set coming again to you. Start. Have you read? Can I move on, guys? Quickly. Are you done reading? All right. So what is happening here? We have the CEO of ABC Telecom in a, he's thinking, he's in a quandary, means he's in a problem where he's supposed to think what to do. Since he received the telephone call in the morning from his counterpart at Element Telecom, which means the CEO of Element Telecom has called him. Both companies were engaged in a bitter experience a couple of years ago when they had attempted to merge with the intention of creating a behemoth telecom company. So they wanted to merge few years back. Possibly the largest in the world. The merger had fallen through due to the opportunistic behavior on the part of Mr. Das, then CEO of LMN. So somebody who was the CEO, Mr. Das, basically behaved in an opportunistic manner, because of which the thing did not go ahead. During the time the merger talks were taking place, Mr. Das had also approached a few other suitors for LMN in an attempt to force ABC to pay a higher price. Further, there were reports of attempts by management of Element to scuttle the deal. Back then, ABC had also faced stiff opposition to the deal from one of its largest shareholders. Since then, a lot has changed for both the companies. The bleak economic conditions due to the recession had led to a drastic fall in the market value of both companies, with ABC comparatively losing much more in terms of market value. Raising money has become more difficult for both companies, especially for LMN. On the brighter side for ABC, the opposing shareholder, that one shareholder, has recently sold off his stake to another investor who earlier had supported the original merger deal with LMN a couple of years ago. So this is information. Let's look at the question. So this is the question. Look at it and give me an answer. I'll give you 60 seconds again. Your time starts now. Yeah, this is an easy question, not too much of a confusion here. Clearly the answer is E, 4 and 5. If you look at 4, let me not be biased against dealing with LMN. If we can secure the deal at a reasonably low price benefiting our shareholders, let's go ahead with this. This is clearly the right way of thinking. So 4 should be there in your answer option. So this is ruled out, this is ruled out. Now between B, D and E, which is correct? Let's look at 1. Once bitten, twice shy. There is simply no way I can think of resuming talks with LMN after their unethical behavior. Remember, it was not LMN which was unethical. It was the CEO who was opportunistic. Now we don't know whether the same CEO is present or not, right? Because it is given in the passage that the then CEO. It is not sure whether, we are not sure whether the same CEO is still in place today. So given this given this lack of information, we cannot say that I will definitely not do this. So one should not be there in your answer. Therefore, your D is gone. What about 2? The deal may make less business sense this time around. So business sense, you're talking about it is not good for the business that way. However, if it goes through, I will become, so this is personal. You are making a bad business deal for your personal ambition. Clearly not the right way to do, because this is not good for the company. So 2 should not be there. Therefore, B is gone and you're left with only E. This is an easy one, right? No difficulty. Let's move on. So this is the answer, option E. It's not a first action. It's not first action. Look at it. Which of the following would be the most appropriate line? So which 1 or 2 or 3 should be the thought process. He is not asking which is first, which is second. Okay, Mohit. Next question. Look at this. 60 seconds. Your time starts now. Okay, so let's understand what is the correct answer here. So the correct answer, so if you look at the first option A, the new entrant in the telecom market were coming with better offers for the customers. Now, what is the reason for this merger right now? What is the hope? Hope that it would be able to streamline operations and reduce cost. So the reason why this merger is happening right now is I can merge 2 operations, cut down the cost. I'm not bothered about competitors right now. So the process of merger, or the entire reason for the merger here is I can cut costs which are independently happening in the 2 companies, but if I merge them, I can do with lesser cost, same revenues with lesser cost. Therefore, this is not affecting your decision at all. Similarly, if you look at B, the market would be as competitive as ever. That is anyway expected. I'm not saying because we merge the competition is going to go down. Therefore, this is not going to affect my decision. Okay? Next, the combined management didn't present any grand strategies to the investors. Once again, the strategies are not something grandiose, grand, not something great. It's a simple strategy of cost cutting. So that is again something which is not new to me. So I'm fine with it. I know it. I'm fine with it. ABC's management was giving in to Mr. Das, who was known, he was a known opportunist. Now, can somebody tell me why not D? Many of you gave E as an answer. Can somebody tell me why not D? I see Jazz and HR31 are challenging each other. Good. Tell me the answer to this, guys. Why not D? Don't fight for the right answer. Tell me the explanation why D is wrong. Let's see how many of you can do this. Because these are freely available questions. You can always Google it and get the answer simultaneously. I don't care about that. I need the correct reason why something is wrong. It is mentioned here, no? It doesn't matter whether it's a CEO or not. ABC's management was giving in to Mr. Das, who was a known opportunist. Whether he's a CEO or not doesn't matter. Mr. Das giving in to Mr. Das. What is the meaning of giving in? So there are certain demands made by Mr. Das. I am agreeing to those demands. That's the meaning. Let's see if anybody can give me the correct answer. Very good. Mukul and Nihar, that's the right way of thinking. If I'm looking at cost cutting, I need somebody like Mr. Das. I'm an opportunist, could be for my personal thing, for my company also. Remember, he was not cheating, he was an opportunist. There's a difference. An opportunist grabs the opportunity irrespective of the consequences to the others. I will take care of me and my company. That's the way of thinking. I don't care whether somebody else is going to die because of it, which is good for the company. That is the reason why if Mr. Das is going to head the entire entity, I'm okay with it as a shareholder. Right? So that is the reason why D is rejected. Therefore, the correct answer is E. Okay? Jazz, that is not the right answer. Okay, so guys, now you know, based on your answers, I can figure out how many of you are copying the answers from the previous year's papers. Let's go ahead and move on to the next question. That's the correct answer, E. Okay, practice set number 3, a long question, lot of data. I'll give you some time to note down the data, write down the question, or at least note down some parts of it. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. Time starts now. Done? Okay, let's move on. Okay. Yes, Yashasvi. The retro ones look more business oriented. They have changed. That's a good observation. That's how it was. It was more questions like there were more questions like this. Slowly they shifted in the last three years, if I'm not mistaken, into the current format where it is more, personal related questions, more, ethics related questions and those kind of things. But earlier it was more to the point, business related. But that's a very good observation, Yashasvi. You have to look at it. Robust preface in your case against the management in front of the management and their shareholders. Most appropriate order. It's not descending or ascending. What is this logical sequence that you will present? So it's not that which is more important, which is less important. There is a sequence which makes logical sense. Which three statements. There are three statements here for all options. Which three statements and in what order? For example, you can see D, C and E, C, D, E, all of them have same three letters. They have the same three letters, but they are jumbled up. Which is the correct sequence? That is the important one. Okay? Let's see. Okay, I've got A's and C's and few E's also. Let's see what is the correct answer, guys. Firstly, management is not doing its best to maintain the profitability of the company. Could be possible. Let's keep it aside. So wherever there is A, let's take a look at where all there is A. A is there in only these two options, and you can see the letters. It is a playing around of ABC. So let's read A, B, C and C whether they make sense as a group or not. So if you look at A, it is talking about the company is not doing enough for profitability. Okay. If you look at B, the company has actually increased its sales volume during the year under consideration. So here this is a negative point and this is a positive point. Then look at C. The adverse economic conditions have led to a worldwide increase in the adoption of alternative energy sources, reflecting in all-time high profits for wind turbine makers in both developed and developing economies. So this is a negative point for that you can put forward, because you're saying that look, everywhere it is growing, only you are making losses. So that's a negative point. Whereas this is also a negative point. But with these 2 points, you are saying that look, your sales have increased. So what are you trying to prove here? You are basically saying that everybody's profits are increasing. You are also saying that you are not being profitable, and you are also saying that you are doing a good sales job. What is the problem here? The problem is these three cannot form a group because there is no proper logical connectivity here. So A, B, C in whatever order cannot be your answer. Therefore, these two are gone. Then look at the other three. All the three have the same three letters. What are the three letters? E, C, B. B, C, E. Let's read the other two. Now B we already read. It's a positive point. Keep in mind. What is C? C we already read. We are saying that everywhere things are increasing, you are not increasing. Fine. What about E? Let's read E. E says the company is trying to increase sales by charging lower unprofitable prices. The moment you get this and this makes this point as negative. If the beauty of this statement is you are saying that yes, your sales volume is increasing, you are selling more units, but every unit you are selling, you are making a loss. So when you sell more units, you'll make more loss. It's as simple as that. This is what is called as your subsidies in petrol. For example, earlier, government used to subsidize the petrol for you. So every liter that the PSU sell, they used to make a loss of 3, 4 rupees or 5 rupees loss per liter. And the more they sell, the more losses they make. So selling more is not good in such a position. So this condition looks positive if you read alone. But if you combine with this, the positive one will turn out to be negative. So these three are negatives and these form a nice group. But what is the correct sequence? So typically this should not come first because this is the first thing which will make the next statement negative. So your E should be followed by B. E and B in that order. Right? E and B in that order. So E and B, this is not correct. E and B, this is not correct. Therefore it is the last one. Are you understanding what I'm doing here? Again, I'm not proving that E, B, C should be there. I'm only catching hold of E and B. Because I know that if E comes, then B will become negative. If E is not coming, B is coming first, B will remain positive. Okay? And how is C connected? So it's like this. How is C connected to A and B? So look at the logic. I'm saying that you are selling every unit at a loss. And you're selling more and more units because you're doing more and more sales. However, everywhere in the world, people, things are turning out to be profitable. You are making a loss. So this is the connection. Is that clear, Yashasvi? So therefore, the correct answer is option E. So friends, the learning here, please focus on the process of getting to the correct answer. Please focus on the process of getting the correct answer, not figuring out what is the, what is the exact, should it be A, B, C or B, E, D? Don't waste your time trying to figure out the correct answer there without looking at the options. That is not the correct process. Elimination, forming linkages, that is the right way. Okay? B and E can also work. B and E can work, but the order is important. B and E are anyway there, no? E comes first. Remember, if B comes first, you're praising the company. That's the reason. Alright, let's move on. So that's the answer. Answer is CBE. No, this is okay. This is wrongly put. It is EBC. Okay, it is EBC. That's the correct answer. This is wrongly put. Let's move on. Okay, practice set 3. If we say that sales increased cause of charging lower, yeah, you're saying that because of which B will come first. Yeah, you can always argue that way. Frankly, I would say it's a 50-50 then, if that is the case, if you're going by that logic. I'll agree to that, Jazz. So there are two ways of arguing, and frankly, in decision making in such a case, whatever the examiner feels is the correct answer. Because this is not maths. I can't say this argument is correct, that argument is wrong. Both arguments, yes, I agree with what you're saying, Jazz, perfectly well. Both arguments are correct. Ideally, such a question should not be there, but unfortunately it has come. What can we do? It has come. So you take a guess, get out. Clear? Anyway, let's move on. This is a beautiful question, guys. Let's see how many of you can solve this. I guess so, Jazz. I remember it as E, and I remember marking it also as E. I don't know, I think in coloring, that thing has gone wrong from my end. But this is a very, very nice question. Please solve this. Okay, can somebody explain the logic? March has 31 days, so E is not correct. E is not correct. So all those of you who are saying A, can you explain the reason why? I want to understand how are you getting this? Chain cutting problem. If you know the logic, then that's good. So look at this beautiful concept, the way in which they're asking. First day, day 1, I will give 1 inch. I'll cut 1 inch and I'll give. Over. Second day, day 2, I will not cut one more. You know what I'll do? If I want to make minimum number of cuts, I want the pieces to be as big as possible. Now, what is the biggest piece I can give and still my job is done? I should not pay anything in advance. So I can't say that, okay, keep all 30 with you and I'll keep staying for the next 30 days. I can't do that. So what should I do right now? I have to pay my second day rent. But I don't want to cut small pieces. What is the biggest piece I can cut and give on the second day in such a way that my rent is paid? Can somebody tell me? Yes, very good, Jazz. So I will cut 2 inch now. What will I do? I cut 2 inches, I'll give 2 inches, I'll take back that 1 inch. Getting the logic? So day 1 I gave 1 inch. So think of it as 1 rupee. I gave 1 rupee. Good. Second day, instead of giving 1 more rupee, I will give a 2 rupee piece and I'll take back the 1 rupee that I gave yesterday. So a bigger cut has been made. Now day 3. When I go to day 3, what do I have with me right now? I already have one more piece with me, right? Because when I gave the 2 inch piece, I got 1 inch back. So day 3, I can give that back. So I will give 1 inch again. So no cut is required. Cut is not required. So now what did I do? I finished my 3 inches, 3 days, all done. But if you notice, I did only 2 cuts. I want the minimum number of cuts. So instead of cutting it 3 times, I cut it only twice. You are understanding the logic here? Now day 4. Again I have to give 1 inch, but I will not cut once again. What should I cut right now? I will cut 4. I will cut total 4 inches. When I give 4 inches, what should I get back? I will give 4 inches, I will get back 3 inches. I will give 4 inches, I will get back 3 inches. So I paid for my 4th day. Day 5, I will pay 1 inch because this 3 inches is 2 plus 1. So I can pay 1. Day 5, 1 inch. Gone. Day 6, I will repeat the process again, this process. I will give 2 inch and I will get back 1 inch. Day 7, I will give back this 1 inch. So like this, if you notice, I can do less number of cuts and every day I can pay. So what is the logic here? The logic for the cutting is 2 power 0, 2 power 1, 2 power 2, so on up to 32. So 2 power what? 31. So you want the number of cuts to be determined by how many powers of 2 are there. Because the first one is 1 inch, 1 cut you have to do. The second cut is 2 inch, you have to cut here. The third cut, however, is 4 inches. So 1, 2, 4, that is a series. So 1 is 2 power 0, 2 is 2 power 1, 4 is 2 power 2. The next is 2 power 3. Like this, what is the last cut you will make? You will go up to 2 power 5. 2 power 5 is 32. So you need to make these many cuts. So, no, sorry, not 2 power 5, 2 power 4. You can't cross 31, right? Because you have only 31. So 2 power 4. So 2 power 4 is here to here. Totally there are 5 cuts that you can make. Totally 5 cuts that you will make. Is that clear, Karthik? So the correct answer is option A. Karthik, that's the formula. The formula is 2 power n less than or equal to this value given k. This n will become your number of, will tell you the number of cuts. Starting from, so n plus 1 be the number of cuts, by the way. Is that clear? Yoga world, yes, but this was a question from decision making. It came under the heading of decision making. You can go and check the 2011 question paper. That is what I'm trying to explain to you. Earlier, 10 years back, they did not perfect the decision making. The decision making in the current avatar today is the perfected decision making, where it's purely thinking, not much of calculation, not much of logical thinking. It is purely emotional thinking or purely business size way thinking, practical thinking. That is the way in which it is today. Earlier, they used to give questions like this also. Okay? Let's move on. So this is done. Set number 4, a very interesting question. Take a look at it. In fact, guys, I'll do one thing. We have already done enough questions like this. Let me give you one nice question, which is different. It's a calculation question now. So we'll get back to this if time permits. But yeah, this is the question. Read this. This is again a decision making question, which is again mostly logical reasoning. It's in between logical reasoning and decision making, to be honest. So this is where a little bit of calculation is required. Please solve this question. I'll give you 4 minutes to think, plus 2 minutes to read. So total 6 minutes. Please note this down. You will need this in the next slide. I don't think I have it in the next slide. Did you note it down, all of you? Can I have a few more responses? If you have all done this, I will move to the next slide. If you have all read it, please reply. All right, wait. Mudit, you have to be a bit faster, my friend. I can wait, but it's an advice from me. You are too slow in reading. You have to be a bit fast. Okay, here is the question. So think, give me an answer. You have 4 minutes time. Okay. So the correct answer here happens to be option C, and let us try to understand why is it option C. Okay. So what you need to get here is, this is the table which tells people's preference. My job is to allocate rooms such that they are as happy as possible. So what is the criteria here? The criteria is, after allocating, if I sum up their preferences, what they got, that number should be the least. The best possible is 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 for all of them. Everybody's first preference is got, all of them are happy. The least number is 5. But clearly that is not possible, but because you can see these two people want the same room. I can't give the same room to both, so somebody should be getting the second preference. So the best possible scenario would have been if everybody is getting the first preference, but that is clearly not possible. Given the constraints, what should I do? So I have to allocate rooms in such a way that the total sum of the preference is as small as possible. The total sum of the preference after the room allocation is as small as possible. So the best way to do this would ideally be allocate 1 here, then 3 here. Now, why 1 and 3? Because nobody else has the first preference for 1 and 3. So straight away 1 and 3 are allocated as it is. Now look at 2. There are 3 people fighting for 2. Whom should I give it to? So if I give 2 to this person, then this 2's are gone. This guy's 3 is also gone. So he will be forced to go to the third preference. So if I give 2 here, I am forcing this guy to go to the third preference. And this guy will be getting the second preference. This is one scenario. The other scenario is, once again, this is gone, this is gone. If I give 2 here, then what is happening? This guy's 2 is gone. So he will be forced to go to 4, and this guy's 2 is anyway gone. This guy is forced to go to second. So we can see that if 3 people want 302, only one person can get 302. The other 2 cannot get 302, which means guaranteed there are 2 people who cannot get the first preference. So it can be 1 plus 1 plus 1. The next 2 people cannot have ones. They can only get minimum most possible is 2 plus 2. Is this possible or not? That's what you need to think logically. So yes, clearly I can see 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1. I am able to do this. Hence, this is the best possible scenario. So in this scenario, you can see M5, M3, M1 are able to get their first preference. Therefore, that is your answer. Answer option C. Clear? Next question. Think about this. You have 2 minutes. Think about this and give me an answer. Oh, sorry, this is already done, right? We already got the answer. Yeah, this is done. I mean, this answer we already calculated, right? 7, but not 5. It was 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 2. Yeah, this is 7. This is done. My bad. We don't need 2 minutes. This already we calculated this. Yes? Next question. This is the third question. What is the answer? Answers, guys. What is the answer for this? Okay, before I reveal my answer, first thing I want to ask you, are you guys enjoying these sessions? Do you like these sessions and the explanation that has been given? If yes, please do give me a like, because your likes will tell us whether you want more of such sessions or not. If you give me enough number of likes, we will come back with more and more such sessions, guys. So please give me a like on this particular video so that we know that you're loving this, right? Let's move on to the correct the answer for this, the discussion for this. The correct answer happens to be your answer 5, or value E, that is value 9, option E. So what is the best way to do this? So here we have the allocation is M1 should go to 304, M2 should go to 301, M3 should go to 303, M4 should go to 302, and M5 should go to 305. This is the order, this is the best possible order where the sum of the preferences total will be minimum, and that minimum value is 9. You can't go less than 9. So the correct answer to this is option E, value 9. Right? So guys, I hope you enjoyed the session. We will be coming back to you with more and more such decision making questions as well as other topics. Don't forget to subscribe, and more importantly, don't forget to click on the bell icon, because we will get back to you with a lot of such sessions. If you have liked right now, I'm reminding you again, please give me a like on the video. Thank you and see you in the next one.